So this video is little late, but I have been watching Gundam and damn, I just went on. Anyway, since I disrupted my weekly manga schedule, so I'm going to compensate by uploading 2 manga related content this week. And I really have high hopes for the manga that I'm currently reading. So let's see. But the manga in discussion in this video is Inuyashiki by Oku Hiroya Sensei. Now if you have been reading manga for a long time, you might be aware that he is the same creator as of Gans, which by the way I have yet to complete. But here's the thing, before I even started reading manga in general, I was always hyped to read this manga, since even in late 2019 the anime adaptation of Inuyashiki was going strong, and every person to whom I asked for anime suggestion always had one entry reserved for Inuyashiki. And also with that I saw many other YouTubers talking about it, and I was just curious, like what's so great about it? I mean, I knew Parasite had been recommended to me several times, and of course I can attribute that to the bias to recently aired anime, but even then, something about this old man flying with a jetpack was so intriguing to me. And now when I received the opportunity to read it, I surely wasn't going to miss it, now that I know how dedicated the author was towards Gans. And damn boy, the girls all look so cute in here. So the plot of Inuyashiki is very digestible, not something that's very convoluted like many other manga. There's 2 guys, one of them an old man who is like a typical grandpa in his late 50s, and there's that young, handsome dude, and both of them were the hilltop together, coincidentally, when a sudden eruption causes them to have mechanical bodies, with their emotions and memory intact. And from then their path starts to diverge. The young teenager, being the so-called invincible, starts to propagate chaos in the city at random, and the old man, having received the chance to prove his worth, tries to stop him. I mean, a typical hero versus villain story, nothing too extraordinary or even too bland, but certainly not something too disappointing. I mean, I probably would have been if there wasn't the scene where some online keyboard warriors in 2chan gets, the taste of real life threat. That thing was really very satisfying. When I was going through the manga, I strongly felt that there might be something that's unique, which would come later. And I kept reading, and it ended. And I found nothing remotely very unique about this series. Although when I started, I thought, well, maybe since they are now machines, I would get to see something like Ghost in the Shell. Or maybe since they now have special powers, there might be something like a psychological battle between the hero and the villain, like what was in Ajin. But there wasn't anything as such. And the only thing to come out of this manga as being pretty enjoyable was the villain and the artwork. So let me get on to it individually. But first, let's talk about the protagonist as a matter of courtesy. The protagonist of the series, Mr. Inuyashiki, as I said, is an old man in his late 50s who is unhappy with his family life, and add this with his growing number of diseases that took over his body, and now you have a grandpa who kept having suicidal thoughts. But things change for him when he gets a new life, in the sense like living the same life but with something to prove and something to accomplish, and live with a purpose which was provided to him by the antagonist, Hero. Yes, no need to hear it again, you heard it correct. The villain's name is indeed Hero. A little correction, Hero. So the antagonist in the story felt more vibrant in here. Somehow it seemed that he far outshined the protagonist, since I found his character as the villain pretty satisfying. Like what I would always desire from an antagonist. He was the very icon of chaos. He lacked emotions towards pedestrians and strangers, but held his close ones dear to his heart. And as I found, people with this personality are often referred as sociopath. And yeah, this term quite frankly suits him. He doesn't give a rat's ass about common people. He goes on mayhem, killing, stealing, robbing, and enjoying his life. Like you're playing GTA but in real life. This dude can hack any machines, run porn in the TV sets in the store, makes the cars crash at each other, and shoot people by aiming his finger at them, while being the sole enjoyer of this orchestration. He was the kind of guy who would see someone crying and would still kick them again. But the best thing he probably has done till now is ask a girl what's her favorite manga after killing her parents. By the way, this wasn't something I should laugh at, but damn, when she answers One Piece to his question, I literally broke out laughing. I mean, I have promised to myself to watch the anime just so I can see this again. Man, I'm really doing something blasphemous. I really try to be as clear as I can be with my words as possible. I don't like the fact of selling someone something by deceiving them or not providing my actual thoughts about it, and therefore I'd be very honest with you all in here. To me, the side characters seem to have the same relevance to the story as the protagonist, except the fact that you have to remember that he is the protagonist. What I mean to say is that the side characters were done well compared to the protagonist, and that's another plus point for this manga. Although the protagonist might not have been very captivating, but the mangaka certainly was able to display the traits pretty well that any hero would have. The message was pretty clear, and it was to value human life, and the clash of ideals of the hero and the villain was done right, and I respect that. But with that said, the build-up of the story and the development of the characters was only in favor of the antagonist, which although made me happy at first, but thinking back, that's something an author shouldn't do with his main character. Aside from the antagonist, and to be honest, my main attraction was the cute girls, the art of the story. Inuashiki was digitally painted, and I wasn't too surprised since Gantz was also done digitally. But you know, painting digitally has its advantages, like the shadows are pretty neat since the writer uses colors to fill the outline rather than hatching. The buildings are more detailed due to the use of scaled and resizable drawings. So yeah, it was an awesome experience to me, and I might now have Hiroya Sensei in the same league as of Inoue, Miura and Sakamoto Sensei, no doubt. Even if there's nothing in the manga, but if the art is great, I'm sticking with it. And for me, it blurs many of the series' other flaws, and so Inuyashiki to me was a decent manga. So yeah, that's all I must say for now about Inuyashiki. It definitely could have been more focused to the protagonist and his life, and also it could have had more narrative depth. But yeah, it was a good read. I'm not very related nor I'm very repulsed. This manga just works. And by the way, if you're considering reading Inuyashiki, go for it. It's not downright ugly, so you might have a great time reading it, and since it's pretty fast, you might complete it in just a matter of hours. So that's all for this video, and if you enjoyed this content, be sure to like, share and also subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified about the latest manga content. And with that all said, zap!